Thanks for joining the live stream, Arm Wrestling fans. Today we'll discuss the second match of this little series which we have started about discussing East versus West upcoming super matches, which will be on 15th of February. You can purchase the pay-per-view for $20 from East versus West website. So this match is Daniel Prokopchuk versus Oleg Zhokh. 75 kg East versus West left arm champion versus 85 kg East versus West left arm champion. But the title that will be defended here is the 85 kg title, which is currently being held by Oleg Zhokh from Ukraine. We don't really see Oleg losing in his weight category. That's something special about him. Even now, before that, yeah, there were some odd times when he may get pinned before the accident, but now he's in his weight category. We can say that he may not be winning so dominantly as he used to, but he's still winning most of the times. He lost one time to Talget Akhtaev. That's one match that Engin also keeps on mentioning, but the shoulders were weird, man. The shoulders were not squared in that match, and for anyone who's a fast presser, that was one huge advantage. The Drew 24 is the first person to comment on the live stream. About 16 people have joined. So thanks for joining the stream. We'll discuss some of the facts about this match, the kind of shapes that we can expect from the athletes coming into this super match. Because we have seen some interviews, and this is one important match. Usually, I like to see the favorite win, but when we're talking about arm wrestlers essentially meeting from different weight categories, then I'm not really sure about that because Oleg is going to be around 85 kilos. That's what I'm assuming. He's not the kind of the guy. He's not the kind of guy who would get bigger, then cut water weight and starve himself, or at least dehydrate himself, then make weight and then get big again. I don't think he's going to do that. So he's going to be walking around maximum 84 kilos. That's what I would assume. And Daniel Prokopchuk, on the other hand, is going to be 80 kilos. So not a huge weight difference, but when we consider these, can we call 85 kg lightweight category? Because 75 is light. What's the name for 85 kg category? Any UFC or boxing fans, please let me know. Or do they have some names for East versus West categories as well? I'm not sure about that. So there is going to be about 4 kilos of practical real life match day difference between these two arm wrestlers. Is it going to be too much? Well, the chat says so because 68% people have voted for Oleg Zog. They think that he's going to be winning this match. Michael has joined. Trolusiak. Nikita has joined. Oleg will just climb out. HNCL3. Hello, bro. Do you think Oleg will ever be like he was years ago? I don't think so. And the reason for that is he's already like 4 years into his comeback. I think the first time he competed was in 2020 after his comeback. So it has been full 4 years. And I think he may have gotten to that level if he could. Like 4 year is a lot of time. 4 years is a lot of time. And the reason I was about to discuss that, but since we are already talking about it, why not discuss the same topic now? So Oleg said that he cannot reach his previous self, his previous peak form, which was before the accident, because he cannot train the same way. He had some injuries that prevent him from going the same way. So that's why he cannot do that kind of training. He cannot be as strong, but he's trying to build a new peak for himself. So training in a new way, maybe even arm wrestling in a new way on the table. And that's how he's trying to reach his new peak. And judging by his own words, it didn't look like that new peak is going to be close to the previous peak which we saw in 2018, but he thinks he will for sure get stronger than what he is right now. How is he planning to do that? We'll see. We have not really seen, I would say, that much improvement from Oleg in the past couple of years because he did beat Beth Kilioniani about with a score of 3-0 or 4-0, whatever it was. That was 3 years ago. And now, yes, Beth Kili got bigger. But if Oleg was improving in these last 3 years, he would have still beaten Bethkili. Bethkili beating him showed that he improved more than him. Yes, there was a difference as well. This time the weight category was higher. Bethkili was like 95 kilos. But if that match happens at 85, after watching how Beth Kelly didn't get pinned by Oleg even once, would you be confident enough to say that Oleg can win the 85 kg class against Beth Kelly if he cuts down weight? I wouldn't be so sure. So that essentially tells us that Beth Kelly has improved more than Oleg Zhokh in last 3 years. So I'm not sure how Oleg's new training method is really working for him. Good points. Thanks for answering HNCL. And now I don't even remember what question I answered. What was the question? Okay, I was still answering that question. How can he reach to his previous form? So that's why I don't think he can reach in his previous form. But I like to see that guy. I would like to see that guy dominate, like maybe up to even 95 kilos. If he can do that in today's world, it's going to be amazing. He still can beat many of the 95 kg arm wrestlers. I would say like almost all of them except for the maybe top three guys. So he's still that good, but not good enough to like be champion of multiple weight categories. भाई ये bot attack का पता है क्या? कौन सा bot attack? It's fascinating that V is he's world champ. He's world champ and still isn't near his prime. Must have been a total monster. Yeah, I would say that 2018 Oleg Zhokh had a pound for pound strongest arm ever for anyone. If we consider pound for pound, I would say Oleg Zokh's left arm at 80 kilos, which was his prime in 2018, his left arm was stronger than John's right arm. Well, not literally, but pound for pound, because John was like 95 in his prime, and he's that guy is 80. So 15 kilos, that's a huge difference. That's like what, almost 18, 19% weight difference. So that's why I'm saying that that guy pound for pound had the strongest arm ever, left or right. Oleg is good, but Bethkili prove himself. Oleg needs a stem cell spoon fed. I'm not sure how. When I was watching Oleg's previous training videos, he was doing this curling exercise. His palm was looking like even more wider than what it is right now. So did he like lose something in his hand too? I know he had surgery in his hand, but did they take something out of it? Because his hand is not looking as massive as it was before that injury. Bethke proved he can juice Max like Hermes and be heavier than Oleg. That match was at 95 kilo category. Oleg, if he didn't want to compete at such a higher weight, he could have said no, but he didn't. He decided to compete. So now let's talk about Daniel Prokopchuk, since we have been already discussing Oleg Petrin, Oleg Zok for quite some time now. First of all, these two have never met, even on the practice table. So no conclusions to draw from the past because they've never been at the table together. Daniel Prokopchuk said that he is and he will be in the best form that he has ever been. And he's going to surprise Oleg with his form and also with his new strategy, which is a complete secret which he's developed for this match. What could possibly be the strategy? No way but Prokopchuk can even think about top rolling Oleg. That's not going to happen. Even the big strong guys cannot take Oleg's hand. So that's for sure not going to happen. Then what is he going to do? Like, he cannot hook Oleg. Don't think it's possible. The only thing that is left is a flop press. So there is no secret strategy, Daniel, here. What are you talking about? You cannot hook him. You cannot top roll him. The only thing left here is a flop press. So that's what Oleg is preparing. That's his secret move. Can he do that? Well, he's pretty good at jamming it like this. Oleg Daniel Prokopchuk is, I would say, if his hand was like 10% stronger, he's basically the Alijan Muratov of his weight category. Basically, same guys. Not as explosive, not as fast, and not as good of a hand that cannot be taken. But if that guy had a solid hand, then he's basically Alijan Muratov in his weight category. He cannot be beat. And Oleg Zok was asking him like, who have you ever beaten since last 2 years? Because since last 2 years you have been telling me that I'm going to beat you. Who have you beaten that makes you think that you can beat me? And that question was repeatedly asked to Daniel Prokopchuk, and he had no answer for that because he has not beaten anyone from a higher weight category. Even in fact, Engin had to remind him that he beat Plamen Dimitrov, who's a higher weight category guy, about 3 years ago, whatever it was. Then Oleg had also beaten him in the past with similar efforts. Engin said both of the matches were about 20 seconds long. So in the past couple of years, he has not beaten anyone from the higher weight category. He faced a couple of guys. No, he only faced David Samusha on the right arm, and he top rolled him once. He took one round from Samusha while being like 80 kilos. So that's a good thing. 79 kilos, he mentioned it, he was in that match. So being 79, and Samusha is someone who I've heard cuts to 85 kilos. He's heavier than 85. And Prokopchuk being 79, taking one round from Samusha. That was a good thing. That was a strong move, man. But I don't see that happening here. I don't see that happening here. He can jam. I've seen if people can take his wrist, he's going to jam that. But how long he can he do that against? If Mindaugas terrasitis can go through that on the right arm, I think Oleg should also be able to do that. Oleg does not have like that kind of move which Mindaugas was doing, but he's stronger than Mindaugas for sure. So that I'm subscribing. Thank you, HNCL. 2018 Dennis versus Alijan at 10T? What's 10T? You mean 105? Dennis cannot make 105. If he did, he would like be blasted by Alijan. It wouldn't be close. Like not even close. So the weights were different. Yes, Bethkili won, but it didn't mean much. Yeah. So first, Bethkili lost to Oleg Zhokh about 3 years ago. That was at 85 kilos, I would assume, or 80, 85, I think it was, because at that time there were no weight categories at East versus West. So simple agreement between the two athletes, whatever the weight is. And then the match was at 95, and Bethkili took his revenge. Pradeep versus Milo Larrett. No, that we're talking about that match 3 years too late. Maybe even more than that. I used to say 3 years about Orden Larrett, and Milo is like a year or 2 years older than him, so maybe he was already pretty strong 3 years ago, 4 years ago. That could have been a match. Raja Tanveer. And I was strong too. 4 years ago, I was good. Probably, not probably, definitely the strongest that I've ever been until now. That was 4 years ago, 2020. It was. So Prokopchuk is sure that he already has enough power to beat Oleg Zhokh. It's just the fact whether he can get to access that power during the match or not. That's his entire strategy. He's working around that. How to find his lane. And for that, he's trying to be quick. That will be his strategy or one of his strategies to quickly get into the position where he feels he can apply his power. And if he's able to do that, he will win. For example, if the match somehow magically goes in a hook, I'm saying magically because there is literally no chance of that happening. You you cannot hook Oleg while being lighter than him. Dadikian did it pretty easily, like it wasn't even difficult for him. Then Bethkili has also done that in the previous match, hooking Oleg, but not in the first round. I think not even in the second round, maybe. But while being lighter than him, and while being evidence out there that your wrist can be taken even in your own weight category, but you still win, I don't think there's a chance that he can hook him. So not sure what kind of positioning speed to get into positioning Prokopchuk is talking about, but everything seems difficult for him. I also, just like the chat, I may also have him, Oleg, as like 75% favorite to win this match, but I still wouldn't be surprised if one thing happens, and it is going to happen. Prokopchuk's wrist is going to be taken, and Oleg will have this full wrist curl, like as much wrist curl as you want. His forearm will be perpendicular on the pad, and from there, if he still cannot finish the match, that's the only way Prokopchuk can win. And if that happens, I wouldn't say I'm totally surprised, but because he can hold people there, he can do that. We have seen that. So let's see how much of finishing power Oleg has. Usually, I've never really seen him getting tired in this position. I see people getting tired when somebody flop presses against them, but Oleg Zhokh is not one of them. He can stay there for a good amount of time, and he uses his body weight pretty well. He utilizes that, all of that 85 kilos in a very good way. Good way. Oleg usually stays outside and holds the opponent. He has two forearms. Yeah, he does. Hi, Pradeep. How are you? I'm good, brother. Do you think Prime Scott Norton could pin Prime Devon? No, no, not a chance. I don't think. Super heavyweight arm wrestling was that developed back then. Prime Scott Norton, he was beating everyone. He did beat John Brazing quite a few times. In fact, he was saying that he was undefeated against John, and John was pretty young at that time too. He beat Cleve Dean, and he basically beat all of them. Nice background, cool door. That must be like a 50-year-old door or something. I'm just guessing, but I won't be shocked if it is like more than 50 years old. Only person who beats Oleg at 86 was Magzan Explosive. Perino, bro, stop. Come on. How much do you earn by YouTube? How much do I earn YouTube? Maybe 10 लाख हो जाते होंगे साल के. Prime Devon Larrett versus Prime Dennis, right? Prime Dennis. I will go with Prime Devon Larrett in a way, with a score of like 3-1, 4-2, something like that. If it is a 7 round best of 7 title match for the number one arm wrestler in the world. So that's as much as Oleg has publicly said about this match. He's planning, he's already strong enough. He just needs to get into the position. He has a secret strategy for that, and he'll be trying to get into that position as fast as he can. Then we've talked about Oleg's injuries. Because of them, he cannot train the same way he used to. That's why he cannot reach the form that he used to be in. And there was some little bit of trash talk between these two. Oleg was saying that I'm working with a dumbbell, I'm lifting a dumbbell more which is heavier than Daniel Prokopchuk's weight. So like, how is he lifting, in what, can somebody guess here? How is, in what exercise Oleg Zhokh is lifting an 80 kg dumbbell? हाँ, इतना तो हो ही जाते होंगे, इससे ऊपर ही हो जाते होंगे थोड़े बहुत, 10-12 के बीच में. I think this Devon wins now, the best he has ever been, it seems. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure Devon will win that match, because Dennis had that side pressure. We've seen like in the Arsen Liliev match, and in a couple of Pushkar matches that he had from this position. Dennis had a very good shoulder roll. He'll get behind his shoulder and push him. But in the matches when he needs that standing up and pressing down motion the most, he's just basically going sideways like Toddzilla. For example, the Michael Todd super match. So despite seeing Dennis having a good flop press at least like 3-4 times, 3-4 rounds, I'm still not sure if Dennis had a flop press or not. Like most of the times he's just basically going sideways. So in that sense, it will be difficult for him to finish Devon King's move. His hand will be taken. Like I think I think so. MMT versus Vitali. Horny Cavill. Monster Michael Todd versus Vitali Laletin. Good match. Good match. Good match. Vitali will take the hand for sure. But Vitali's arm power is little bit questionable even now, at least on the right arm, that he may get stopped. And from there, it can get interesting. Good match, I'll say. I would like to see that. If you asked me this question like a year ago, I would have said Vitali without even thinking for a second. But now Michael is looking good. Prime Dennis versus Alijan left. I think Dennis will pull that off, but in a very hard fought battle, because I have seen if he gets put on the defensive side, he had to, like, even against Rustam Babayev. I don't know how much tired he was, but it's Denis Siplenkov. He's not supposed to be tired while winning 95 plus kg category at Zloty. He's supposed to be completely fresh, and yet when Babayev took him here, it took him like 1 minute of grinding to bring him back. And when people see in that, you may have watched that match. Dennis is here, and his facial expression is like this. People are writing that Dennis isn't even applying his power. Are you crazy? Like, the guy's hitting and it's not moving. And then he basically looks towards the sky and like motionless. He stays there. He stays there, hoping that Babayev gets tired. And people are writing in the comments that he's not even giving. Sometimes people are delusional. We've already discussed that match for like good 15-20 minutes. How about let's start talking about delusional people? I saw, like, that was almost a year ago. I suddenly remembered that. A year ago, I saw a video. I think Devon was trying grippers on some channel. Either it was on Juji's channel or some channel. He was trying a COC 2.5, if my memory is serving me correct here. And obviously, he couldn't close it. Like, Devon was absolutely shitting himself, giving it all he had. Not like the recent times when he stopped like gripping. You can pay Devon to squeeze a gripper as hard as you can. You can pay him like $100 and he still wouldn't do that. Don't know why, but he wouldn't do that. Now he's that person. But back in the day, he was like giving it all. You can see that, and he couldn't close the 2.5. And that, those comments, like, maybe some Indian editor made that video. I think that was, the comments were mostly from India and from some other countries too. And people were writing, Devon is just pretending that he's giving it all. Devon is obviously joking, he would crush that gripper. Good acting, best actor award goes to Devon Larrett. And bunch of stupid comments like that, man. I was like, what kind of delusional fanboyism you can practically have to write comments like that. And speaking of, I read one more comment today on Dadikian versus Oleg Zhokh video. I was watching that video to see if, like, Oleg had something going or not. He didn't. In the first round, Dadikian basically just robbed him in the setup. The setup, the start was like this, and still he was allowed to start like that. Don't know why, but you may have seen that Oleg quit in the third round. He knew that he's going to lose. He quit. But Dadikian, instead of just stopping the match there, he held him here for half a second and then just slammed his hand down to the pad. And then he shouted at his face. Even at that time, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I said there was nothing wrong with that. Because if you see clearly, his hand was not pinned. And it's the referee's job. As soon as somebody's arm gets pinned, referee immediately grabs hold of the hands, and then then the match stops. Have you not heard, do not stop pulling until the referee says so? Like, isn't it a common thing in arm wrestling, just like it is in boxing? Don't stop fighting unless you're told so. Or I should say, protect yourself at all times. So the similar thing in arm wrestling would be, do not stop arm wrestling until the referee tells you. And there was no pin. Oleg quit, but I don't think there was any pin. So Dadikan held him here, and then he slammed his arm down to the pad. What's wrong with that? So maybe you didn't like the aggression, but just read this comment. It was from Arthur Callahan, something Morgan, 7 months ago. Imagine celebrating like an animal to a guy who's 20 kgs less than you. I agree. Up until now, there is nothing wrong with the comment. And was in coma for a time after he lost his father. 2019, if in 2019 Oleg was in coma and he lost his father, so then a guy arm wrestling him in 2022, he needs to remember that. He needs to keep that thing in his mind and then behave according to that. Well, this guy lost his father 3 years ago, so I better behave properly, or I better not let my aggression out, which I would usually let out against other guys. Or what does can somebody explain this to me? Like, what does it have, if you lost your father and and you were in coma 3 years ago, what does that have to do with this match? Like, are my emotions dead, or is this guy acting like over emotional? And his friend, so he's talking about Pushkar as well. And he lost his friend in it. So what does him losing his friend in a car accident 3-4 years ago have to do with what is going on here? What a clown David is. I know. I think you're the clown for writing that. I'm sure he's not watching that, but let me know, what are your thoughts about that? Oleg will get hooked easily, not by Prokopchuk. I hope you're talking about someone else. I don't think Prokopchuk is going to hook him easily. My thoughts on Brian Shaw, like, be more specific with the question. Post a detailed question, brother. He's shocking. 375 pounds, 16 point something, 16.5% body fat. That's basically less body fat than me, while weighing exactly, like, maybe even more than twice as much as my weight. So the guy is shocking. That's what I would use. The word I would use for him. Less body fat than me. I'm assuming, like, judging by my belly fat, I may be around like 20% body fat, maybe even more. And he's like 16.5 and weighing more than two times my body weight. Dennis literally dad moved Rustam that day. Obviously, not easy to pin. No, Alijan versus Morozov left hand. I think Alijan wins that match. Even Bethkili found it hard to hook Oleg and keep him in a hook. And Bethkili is much stronger than Daniel. So yeah, Daniel will not hook him. That's not even a question, man. Left-handed match. Yes, it is a left hand. How did I have only 34, 33 people like constantly in this live stream? It never happens. I've never seen a number this low. People are not interested in this match. Maybe I should have put something else in the thumbnail. Good reminder. Don't spam. If Dennis doesn't get injured and continues his training, then what will be the result of Dennis versus Levant? Levant second actually wins. That will be the result of anyone against Levant until the day he gets defeated. Is the match left-handed, guys? Yes, it is. No mods here. Nope, there are no moderators. So the Drew is the moderator now. Where is add as moderator? Standard moderator. You're the moderator. So I didn't do back workout today. I think I should have done that. Instead, I started doing pull-ups because I have this single arm pull-up goal by the end of this year. I did 50 pull-ups, so 10 sets of 5 repetitions. First, I tried my max, like strictest form possible, whatever my shoulder allows. It doesn't allow to open fully, but whatever range of motion I have, I was able to do only 7. So that's my limit. 7, only 7, and that too neutral grip pull-up. So probably if this is what I'm trying to do, then I'll get maybe 6. So 7 strict pull-ups, good form I got. Then with like 80%, 90% strict form, I did 10 sets of 5 repetition. Yeah, neutral grip is probably the easiest way to do a pull-up. Devon never faced actual super heavyweight in top 5. He faced only Gennady, which he lost to, and Hermes, which he got very lucky. Devon himself said that. I think Devon is just being nice there because Hermes basically flash pinned Jerry 3 times in a row, and if he was peaked then, how much effort can it basically take for you to continue that shape for like 3 more weeks? Because the match was like 3.5 weeks after that. So I think Devon is just being nice here. Vitali will top roll Devon. Raja, I think good match. We would like to see that. As of now, Devon, I think, should be the winner of it. Is Devon versus Morozov now confirmed? Devon versus Artyom Morozov is confirmed, yes. East versus West 17. It will be in the USA left arm super match. If Morozov is still the title holder, if he defeats Vitali next week, then that is going to be a title match against Devon. But if he loses, it's not going to be a title match or the gauntlet match, but the match is still going to happen. Henry Heavy Crew is saying, what are your thoughts on the fame-seeking Arden Larrett? Should he be allowed super matches simply because of his last name? Yes, he should be allowed because the promoters are not stupid, man. Just imagine Heavy Crew. If you were the organizer, if you were putting your money, if you were giving your money to Arden Larrett, wouldn't you see some benefit for yourself and then invite him? So if the guys are inviting him, then it means he's bringing some kind of exposure, some kind of benefit to them, and that's what super matches are all about. If it's just about the top guys competing, then we would never see the lower level guys competing. Isn't it good to see more guys compete? Is Wouldn't you one day like to see me compete somewhere if I train? Wouldn't you like to see yourself compete somewhere, get an opportunity somewhere if you like to train? Or would you wait for the day when you become like top 15 in the world in your weight category? So I think, yeah, he totally deserves that. And fame seeking, everybody is doing fame seeking on YouTube. Who isn't there for the fame or the money? Everyone is there. Engin Terzi would say that he isn't, but obviously he is. Probably more than anyone else. And Auden is the real dedicated puller. He has a personality fun to watch. Just because I like call out Auden for most of the things, and it's for I wouldn't even deny it feels good to call out some of the famous guys for something. Maybe in the mind, because it kind of creates a balance. I've seen it multiple times. If people are supporting someone for something, my immediate reaction would be to like find some fault in that. He already has supporters, go against him. Nobody's speaking against him. That's why, like, most of my videos which are against Devon and Orden, that's the basic reason behind that. Okay, he already has enough support. Why isn't somebody, he already said basically 7 8 good things. Why isn't somebody calling him out for the two wrong things which he said? And everybody's talking about the 8 good things. Then I feel like it's my responsibility to talk about those two things as well. And on some topics you may have seen, when nobody's supporting anyone, I'm the one there to support. Like, for example, when they said that Ryan Bowen is not the winner, who else except me on YouTube said that no, Ryan is still the true winner? So my brain works like that. Okay, everybody is against Ryan, I'll also be probably against him for most of the reasons. But for this one reason, I would say that he should be the winner. He should still be the winner. So that's how my brain works. Yeah, both. But Arden has more haters. Yep, he does. He does. But fans too. Fans too. Usually not. Maybe I would say statistically, fans don't comment as much. And you would, yeah, haters, you just proved my point, right? Whatever I was saying, because on this subject my brain went like, everybody is calling out Auden for getting these super matches, so my brain is like, why shouldn't he get these super matches? That's how I work. And I genuinely don't see anything wrong with that. But on this subject, if everyone was supporting him, I would also be supporting him. Just because his level isn't that great, it doesn't mean he shouldn't be getting matches. But then if he pretends that his level is so great, then he deserves some calling out again. Like, I did call him out for saying that Artem is going to be like 225, 220 pounds. No, he's not going to be. He's never been over 200 pounds. Arun Tripathi, please answer. What do you think about the heaviest Devon versus Levan? Levan Saginashvili would still win that match. Devon would get gassed out pretty badly after first round, irrespective of how the first round goes. And you can see in all of the matches, yeah, first match against Levan, Devon got injured, but against Gennady, against Devon, against Levan, second match, all of the matches that Devon has lost, he always gets gassed out by the end of the match. Always. That's a common trend. If Devon is losing, you'll see him getting gassed out. Against Kamil Jablonski, that match was one sided anyways, but you see Devon gets flash pinned a couple of times and he couldn't breathe. So there is one direct correlation between Devon losing and him getting gassed out. Even if he's losing like fast, he gets flash pinned. The guy gets gassed out. That wasn't the case back in until 2018 WL days. Like, he would lose and he would still come back. But now if he starts losing, like, his gas tank is going down. YouTuber only job. No, unfortunately not. Levan is always the heavy favorite until proven otherwise. I do agree. No, Levan wasn't sick when he faced Hermes. He says that he wasn't in the best shape, but yeah, we cannot call that sick, being sick. Bro, you type in Hindi. What do you think should be the main event of East? I think it's right. The Vitali versus Morozov match being the main event is the correct decision from Engin Terzi. Many hate him, but will still want to watch. Just look at the views on his matches. I would like to see Orden compete even more. So how can I complain about him competing against Artem? And I think it's a good match. It's not a. I still have Orden as the favorite, maybe like 57.5% favorite against Artem, but it's not an easy match. I don't. He can make it look an easy match if he just completely controls Artem's hand, which he has to do anyways if he's going to win it. There is no other way for him to win that match. But still, I wouldn't say it's an easy match, even though Orden is the favorite. What are your thoughts on fully prepared Milo versus Orden? I think Orden is like too far ahead of him as of now. Morozov beat Daniar so easily. Oh yeah, what else were you expecting from Morozov? Obviously, he's going to win easily. He's the Terminator after all. So thanks guys for joining this live stream. Agree, finally England found a standpoint that I agree with. Yeah, I'm going to end this live stream. Oleg Zhokh, how many votes did Oleg get to win 65? Only 95, 94 votes. But still, he's the winner. The fans have decided that Oleg is going to win. Thanks, guys. Bye. Practice polls. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Take care. Arun.